There are moments in life when everything feels divided. Me versus them, right versus wrong, my success, your failure. And we spend our entire life trying to fix the world without realizing maybe the problem is not the world. Maybe it's how we see it. Today, Krishna doesn't give a solution. He changes the way you see everything. And to understand that, we need to go back just one step. Last time, something inside us became quiet. Not forced, not controlled, just quiet. That sounded like the destination.
It feels like the destination, but it's not. It's just the moment before something extraordinary begins. And that's where verse 28 takes us now.
The self-controlled yogi, thus uniting the self with God, becomes free from material contamination and being in constant touch with the Supreme, achieves the highest state of perfect happiness.
Krishna is saying, when the mind becomes still, it doesn't remain empty. It becomes open, as if something can finally reach you. Open to something you have never experienced before. Krishna doesn't say you will understand truth. He says you will touch it. Just like you don't understand warmth, you feel it. In that stillness, something touches you. And for the first time, you are not thinking. You are not reacting. You are not trying to control it. You are just there. Let me take you into a real moment. It's 11:47 p.m. A founder is sitting alone. Laptop open. Numbers falling apart. Investors are waiting. Team is exhausted. Inside chaos. Fear, doubt, noise. And in that moment, they don't need more data. They need clarity. That's the mind we all know. But imagine, for a moment, the noise stops. No future, no past, no fear. Just stillness. And suddenly, clarity arises.
Without thinking?
Without forcing. The right call becomes obvious. Not calculated, not debated. Just seen. That moment where you don't create clarity, you receive it. That moment where intelligence flows through you. That is what Krishna calls Brahm Sansparsh, the touch of the infinite.
Why don't we experience this more often?
Because we don't stay still long enough. We panic too early. We react too fast. We fill the silence with noise again. We don't trust the stillness. Krishna says, Sukhen, Atyantam Sukham. Effortless, infinite bliss. And this is not happiness. Happiness depends. Bliss does not. Happiness comes and goes. Bliss stays. Think about the last time you felt completely at peace. No anxiety, no rush, no need to prove anything. That feeling. Krishna is saying that is your natural state. Bliss is not something you build. It is what remains when you stop disturbing yourself. Verse 27 calms the mind. Verse 28 connects you beyond the mind. And in that connection, you don't find answers. You find stillness that knows. And that one decision changes everything.
In the last verse, something very subtle happened. The mind became still, and Krishna said, "You touch something infinite." That was verse 28. But now, something even deeper unfolds.
The true yogis, uniting their consciousness with God, see with an equal eye all living beings in God and God in all living beings.
Ankur, I'll be very real. This sounds beautiful, but I can't feel it.
That's because we are trying to think this verse. Krishna is not talking about thinking, he is talking about seeing. Right now, we don't see reality as it is. We see it through our windows, not directly, always filtered, always shaped. Imagine you are inside a room and you see the sky through a small window. The sky is infinite, but through the window it looks limited. And slowly you start believing the sky is only this much. The sky was never limited. The window created the limitation. In the same way, your senses, your mind, your ego, they are the windows through which you see people as separate. In verse 27, mind becomes silent. In verse 28, you touch the infinite. Now, in this verse 29, the window disappears. When the window disappears, you don't try to see unity. You see that the same consciousness is in everyone and everything exists in that same consciousness.
So, it's not about being kind or equal?
No. Kindness is effort. This is perception.
But how do I know this is real and not just something I'm telling myself?
That's the most important question, because this verse is not asking you to imagine oneness. It is asking you to remove what is false. Right now, separation feels real because your mind is constantly labeling, this is me, that is other. But just observe, before the thought comes, before the label appears, is there really a boundary? In that gap, there is no me, no you, just awareness. But the moment the mind returns, it draws lines again, creates identities, roles, separations, and we start believing those lines are real. That's the window we talks about. Not outside, inside. Your thoughts are the frame. So verse 6.29 is not telling you to see unity. It is revealing that separation was never real. The most important shift, you don't see different people anymore. You see one life appearing in many forms. And this is where Krishna had hinted something earlier, like one sky seen through many windows.
But Ankur, haven't we heard something similar before?
Yes, in chapter 5, verse 7. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma, seeing yourself in all beings and all beings in yourself.
Then what's new here?
In chapter 5, you are still inside the window, but you've understood that everyone is equal. So you try, you practice fairness, you control judgment, you remind yourself. That's a disciplined leader. But here in chapter 6, the window is gone. There is no trying because there is no separation left. Chapter 5 says, see everyone equally. Chapter 6 says, there is no everyone. A chapter 5 leader tries to be fair, controls bias, thinks before reacting. A chapter 6 leader doesn't need to control because bias doesn't arise. Decisions come from clarity, not ego. This verse is not asking you to behave differently. It is inviting you to see without the window. And the moment that happens, you don't find unity. You realize it was always one.
In the last verse, something extraordinary happened. The boundary between me and others began to dissolve. You no longer saw separate individuals. You saw one consciousness expressing through many forms. And that itself felt like a huge shift. But Krishna doesn't stop there. He now makes it deeply personal.
For those who see me everywhere and see all things in me, I am never lost, nor are they ever lost to me.
Ankur, in the last verse, verse 29, it was about self. But now Krishna says, me. What does that change?
This is very important. Krishna is not talking about his physical form. He is pointing to the ultimate reality, the source, the same infinite consciousness. In verse 29, you saw oneness. In verse 30, you recognize that oneness as the divine. Krishna says, one who sees me everywhere. This is not imagination. This is not forcing belief. This happens when your perception has already changed. When the mind is silent, when the window is gone, then wherever you look, you don't just see people, situations, objects. You see the same presence everywhere.
So, nothing feels ordinary anymore?
Everything becomes sacred. And Krishna adds, not just I am everywhere, but everything exists in me. Meaning, you are not separate from the source, you are within it. Then Krishna says something very intimate. For such a person, I am never lost, and they are never lost to me. Think about it. Most people live with a constant feeling of being alone, of being disconnected, of carrying everything by themselves. Krishna is saying that feeling ends here completely. You never feel abandoned, you never feel cut off, because wherever you look, you feel the same presence, and wherever you are, that presence is with you. This is not belief, this is not religion, this is not ritual, this is perception. You don't believe in the divine, you see it.
So, this is different from verse 29.
Yes. Verse 29 dissolves separation. Verse 30 creates connection. In 29, everything is one. In 30, that one becomes meaningful.
What does this mean for a leader?
The usual leader feels alone in decisions, carries pressure internally, thinks it's all on me. This leader never feels alone, not because people are around, but because they feel connected to something deeper. Decisions are not driven by fear, because there is trust. Actions are not driven by ego, because there is alignment. Even in uncertainty, there is inner support. Most leaders operate from control, fear, isolation. A leader rooted in this verse operates from trust, connection, clarity. This verse is not telling you to find God. It is revealing that you were never separate from it, and the moment you see that, you stop searching and you start trusting.
In verse 30, Krishna said something very intimate. If you see the divine everywhere, you are never disconnected from it. you are never lost, and it is never lost to you. That felt deeply reassuring. But then a question comes: how do you actually live like this in real life?
And that's what Krishna answers now in verse 31.
The yogi who is established in union with me and worships me as the Supreme Soul residing in all beings dwells only in me, though engaged in all kinds of activities.
Ankur, when I hear bhajati, I immediately think of prayer, rituals, devotion. Is that what Krishna means here?
No. And this is where the verse becomes radically different from what we usually understand. Bhajan is not something you do in isolation. Bhajan is how you see every moment of life.
How you see every moment?
Yes, when anything appears in front of you, a person, a situation, even a conflict, the first response within you should be, this too is divine.
Even when someone is unfair or difficult?
Especially then, because it is easy to remember the divine in peaceful moments. But real bhajan begins when life is uncomfortable, when someone challenges you, when someone disagrees, when someone hurts you. Can you still see beyond the surface?
That feels almost impossible in the moment.
It feels impossible because we stop too early. We see behavior and we conclude. We see attitude and we judge. Think of it like digging a well. First you hit stones, then mud, then dirty water. And most people stop there. But if you keep going, you reach pure water.
So what we see in people is just the surface.
Exactly. Behavior, reactions, ego. These are surface layers. If you stop there, you miss the truth. But if you stay aware and look deeper, you begin to see something else. The same presence, the same life within them.
But how does this change anything practically?
It changes everything. Because the way you see people shapes how they respond to you. If you constantly see someone as negative, you reinforce that behavior, you strengthen it. But if you see beyond the surface, if you see possibility, depth, something more, you create space for that to emerge.
So perception is not neutral. It actually influences reality.
Yes, and that's why Krishna says, Sarvatha Vartamanopi, no matter how you are living, in any situation, this awareness can remain.
So you don't need to leave your life or your work.
No, this is not about escaping life. This is about transforming how you live it. You can be in a boardroom, in conflict, under pressure, and still see beyond the surface. And that's when you're living in the divine. Krishna says, such a person doesn't just remember the divine, they live in it. Not sometimes, not in meditation alone, but in every interaction.
What does this mean for a leader?
A typical leader reacts to behavior, labels people quickly, decides based on surface. But a leader rooted in this verse sees layers, understands that every person is evolving, every person is in process. Instead of asking, why is this person like this? They ask, what is hidden deeper here? They don't just manage people, they reveal potential. They don't react, they respond with awareness. And slowly, they create an environment where people grow instead of shrink. This verse is not asking you to pray more. It is asking you to see differently. Because the moment you see differently, you respond differently. And when that happens, your work becomes worship, your interactions become devotion, and your life becomes a continuous connection.
Ankur, till now we've been talking about oneness, seeing the divine, living that awareness. But when it comes to real life, relationships, people, that's where it becomes difficult.
And that's why Krishna brings the final test in verse 32.
I regard them to be perfect yogis who see the true equality of all living beings and respond to the joys and sorrows of others as if they were their own.
This sounds simple. See others like yourself. Feel their happiness and pain. But I feel there is something much deeper here.
There is, in fact, this verse is not simple at all. It is one of the most uncomfortable truths Krishna shares. We all believe we are fair people, but look closely. When we make mistakes, we say it was situation. I had no choice. When others make the same mistake, we say they are wrong, they are careless, they are the problem. This is what Krishna is breaking. He is saying, use the same lens for yourself and for others. If you forgive yourself for weakness, learn to understand others' weakness. If you justify your actions, be equally honest about them.
So this is not about being kind. It's about being honest.
And then Krishna goes even deeper. He says, don't just see equality between people. See equality between you and others. Because ego plays a very clever game. It says, everyone can be equal, but I should still be slightly better. That slightly better is the whole problem. Observe your mind. If someone is praised, there is discomfort. If someone is criticized, there is instant agreement.
Yes, we don't even question criticism.
Because it supports the ego and praise threatens it. Krishna is saying, break this completely. When you see someone suffering, don't analyze, don't judge. Ask, if I were in this situation, how would I feel? When you see anger, don't label it. Ask, have I also been angry like this? When you see failure, don't reject it. Ask, could this also be me? Because when this happens, something very natural arises. Compassion, not forced kindness, not something you try to do, something you cannot avoid. Because when you see others as yourself, hurting them feels like hurting yourself.
And that's why Krishna calls this the highest.
Yes, because this is not meditation anymore. This is how you live. Anyone can sit in silence and feel peaceful. But can you remain aware? In relationships, in conflict, in discomfort. That is the real test of yoga.
What does this mean for a leader?
A typical leader judges quickly, expects perfection, reactively labels people. But a leader rooted in this verse understands human limitation, sees themselves in their team, doesn't just ask, why did this person fail? But asks, what would I have done in their place? And that creates trust, growth, real connection. This verse is not asking you to be good. It is asking you to be real. Because the moment you see yourself in others, the distance disappears. And when distance disappears, you don't try to be compassionate anymore. You cannot be anything else.
If this episode made you pause, even for a moment, if you caught yourself judging, reacting, separating, then maybe something has already shifted. Because transformation doesn't begin outside. It begins when you see differently. And if this conversation resonated with you, do share it with someone who needs this shift. Follow, subscribe, and write to us at beyondthebattlefield@outlook.in. And don't forget to explore our GPT companion link in the description. You don't try to be compassionate anymore. You cannot be anything else, because there is no other left.